everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. 2,000 point battle, my Ogres versus my opponent's Bretonians. And this is more than just a fun game. This is a practice game. This is a training game. So as you know, this will be my second game with Ogres in the old world, and I got a message on January 19th at 11:57 p.m. So at night, just before midnight. A buddy of mine, Kazandu, that I ran into in the S-Spot 2 GT, real good guy, like him a lot. He's really, really, really good at this game. And yes, he did beat me. But it was before I was doing battle reports, so it never happened. Anyway, he told me about this Owl Winter Online Tournament. I believe it's Old World Legends Winter Online Tournament. It's actually a very cool group of guys. It's a very cool community Discord server. I'll put all the links I can in the description of this video. Please come check it out. Please come join. But it is an online tournament with about 40 or so players enrolled. It starts on January 20th and it ends on February 23rd. It's one game a week for 6 weeks. Prizes for the top 3 people, and it costs about $20 to join. So I found out about it. He messaged me, apologized for getting to it last minute. I thought about not joining since I wanted to play Ogres, and I have literally one game under my belt at that point. But I was like, you know what? I learned so much from the S-Spot 2 when I was playing my Tomb Kings. Why would I expect anything less by joining this one? So I changed my list up a little bit from my first game, and I was like, screw it, I'm going for it. Let's see what happens. So this is the list that I'm going to be playing for the next 6 weeks, so I need all the practice with it that I can get. And like I said, so far the community has been awesome. Go check them out if you're at all interested. It's probably too late by the time you watch this to get into the Owl Winter Online Tournament. However, getting into their next one would probably be very beneficial, be a lot of fun, play a bunch of people that you don't know or probably would never meet otherwise. And their forums do offer a bunch of Warhol meetups, like looking for group type things, as well as real world, depending on your location. So check them out. They don't know that I'm saying this. They don't know that I'm pitching for them. They can be mad as they want. I think they're awesome, and so I'm going to use this platform to cheer for them a little bit. So go check them out, and I've babbled long enough. Let's get to the list. Here's my list, and yes, this is the one that I have to play in every game for the next 6 weeks, so I'm going to try to get as many in with it as I can, so that when I do face off against my opponents for the Owl Tournament, which is awesome, I'll know enough about it that hopefully I can do well. So I have my Slaughtermaster still, because he's awesome. He's my general, level 4 wizard. I gave him Illusion, and he's got the Butcher's Cauldron, because that thing's broken awesome. I gave him Grut's Sickle, because I like the idea of having plus D3 with no real downside, other than I have to lose an Noblar, which I'm okay with. I gave him the Blood Cleaver still, which it'll heal him for any wounds he might take in combat or miscast or even double fail the Butcher's Cauldron. And a Potion of Strength, so that if I do get Spectral Doppelganger, since I'm only Strength 4, the Potion of Strength could potentially bring him up to Strength 7, which could be game-changing. We will see. Then I have my Hunter. He's a scout. He's got the additional hand weapon and harpoon launcher, armor silvered steel, and a Cathayan jet pendant with long strider. And he's my threat hunter and my war machine hunter. If he can get a hold of him, he should be able to destroy him with 5 attacks. And I do have him paired up with a couple of saber tusks to just give him swift stride, and a couple of shields to soak some wounds for him. Last but not least, I have my bruiser, Lord Tremendous, and he's a new addition. I did drop the other hunters. You'll see why in a second. He's on a Thunder Tusk, and I thought about going with the Stonehorn. He is a little bit faster, but he doesn't have any stomps. He's got all impact hits. The Thunder Tusk has a lot of extra benefits. Yeah, the multiple wounds reduction by 1 is nice, but having -1 to your weapon skill and -1 to your initiative when you're base to base with him, that is huge. And plus D3 impact hits, 3 guaranteed stomps. At strength 6, AP 2, the Thunder Tusk was a no-brainer for 30 points less. So I took him. I also made the Bruiser my BSB, and I gave him the Rampaging Banner. He's only movement 6 with Swift Stride, so being able to make those charges is super important, and the Rampaging Banner doesn't guarantee it, but it really helps a lot. And then I gave him the Armor, Meteoric Iron, and a Talisman of Protection for the basically re-rollable 5-up saves. Yes, certain things will take away my armor save, like Monster Slayer, for example, or certain spells, but for the most part, having a 5-up against everything at toughness 6 is huge. And with Death Cheater, if I do run into somebody with Monster Killing Blow and they get one, I can make them re-roll it. I think it's pretty solid. Yes, I see holes in my characters, but I had to make this list. That night I found out about the tournament, and this is what I went with. In my core, I've got 2 Saber Tusk packs with scouts, and their job is to just hang out with the hunter and give him an extra couple of wounds and Swift Stride. They're awesome. Then I have 20 Noblar fighters because they're dirt cheap at 40 points, and they stay 3 inches from the Slaughtermaster at all time, so that when he casts a spell, he can use Grut Sickle if he needs to, and add D3, and who cares about Noblar fighters? With 20 of them, it's rare that I'm going to cause a panic check, but when I do, they'll be right next to the general. They should be okay, but yeah, I love my batteries. Then I have 3 mandatory Ogre Bulls that are butt naked at 93 points. These are my chaff unit and targets of opportunity. If they can charge something and destroy them, great. If not, if I have to sacrifice them, it's a 93-point unit to redirect. I have to take them anyway. Might as well make them useful. And then, of course, I have my huge brick of 7 Iron Guts with full command, the Bull Standard, and Veterans. Veterans is important because for obvious reasons, but also the rule states that if the majority of the models in the unit have this status, you can reroll leadership checks. The Slaughtermaster's Cauldron is a leadership check, so when I fail my leadership, I get to reroll it, which doesn't guarantee that they're always going to have a 5-up regen, but it helps a lot to ensure that that happens, and honestly, Iron Guts are just amazing. So that's why I took a big old Death Star of them. In Special, I have my Iron Blaster, because yeah, duh, heavy chariot with a cannon, why wouldn't I take it? Even if the cannon stops working, it's still a heavy chariot, so yeah, definitely taking that. 185 points is pricey, but he's worth it, I think. And then I have my 4 Mournfang Cav because they're awesome. Banner Musician, the Cannibal Totem. Yeah, it reduces their pursuit to only 1d6, but who cares? Giving that 5-up regen is totally worth it. And of course, they have great weapons and heavy armor because when I hit you, I want to wound you. Here's my opponent's list, and like I said, it's my buddy Rathgar, and he's playing as Bretonians. He's got 929 points in character, starting off with Duke de Gaulle. He's his general on a Royal Pegasus with Lance Shield Heavy Armor. He's got Serene's Locket, the Gauntlet of the Duel, a Bedazzling Helm, and the Virtue of Heroism. So very common, very solid kit for a Duke and a Bretonian's army. Super dangerous, let's be honest. Then he's got a Paladin, Lionel. He is on a Royal Pegasus. He's his BSB with a War Banner. He's got Lance, Shield, Heavy Armor, the Gauntlet of the Duel, and a Grommel Great Helm. So a little tweak to an otherwise pretty awesome kit. Making him the BSB with a War Banner, that's a lot of combat res, just right off the bat. And of course, he's got the Grail Vow and the Virtue of Duty. Not last, but his prophetess Claret at 230 points, level 4 wizard with illusion, lore familiar, dispel scroll, and biting blade. She's a very defensive mage. And then he's got a sergeant at arms, which is a demigod. He's got the armor of meteoric iron, and I believe a hull rig. For his core, it's a little unorthodox, especially for Bretonians, but 20 Knights of the Realm on foot with full command, great weapons, and shields. 30 men at arms with full command, and there's a yeoman and a grail monk in there. I'm not sure which is an upgrade, which is just a unit champion, so I listed them both, so yeah, you know. And then 2 units of peasant bowmen with musicians and defensive stakes. Big hitters in his army are in his special unit, which is 5 peg knights with the standard musician, the razor standard, and the knight's vow. It'd be foolish to play Bretonians without peg knights, so this is what you expect, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. And then in rare, he's got 5 Grail Knights, butt naked, just there, ready to kick ass in the name of the Lord. Spells for this one was Troll Guts, because I want to try giving regen saves to my other units. Mind Razor, Confounding Convocation, because I think it'd be hilarious to be able to make someone stupid. And Mirage, because it's probably the best spell in the game. My opponent got the Lady's Gift, Glittering Robes, Miasma Mirage, and Spectral Doppelganger. So, I mean, it's just a prophetess. I'm not too worried about her. And here's deployment. Now, keep in mind, I'm still learning. I'm still not 100% comfortable with these guys. I have some ideas, but I didn't know what to do against the Bretonians. I'll be honest with you, Peg Knights and Peg characters scare the hell out of me. And so I realize at this point I don't really have an answer for them. I've got a cannon, but I don't even know how shooting a cannon into skirmishers really works. I'm not sure if I hit everyone that's under the template. I'm not sure if I just hit one because they don't have ranks. None of that really clicks for me right now. Yeah, I know. Everything that the template hits with skirmishers is hit, and the characters would get lookout sir rolls. But I didn't know that at the time. So I just did what every good coward would do, and I bunched up in the middle with some ogres on the flank there and a hunter on the other flank just to put some pressure on my opponent, and that was it. So on the left flank there, got the hunter with his packs of saber tusk with him. He's gonna probably shoot and then try to charge into as much as he can and just cause as much commotion and problems as he can. I've got my bruiser, Lord Tremendous, on the hill or next to the hill with the Iron Guts right there with their batteries right behind them. The Iron Blastards next to them with the Mordfang next to them, and the plan is go forward and slaughter. The regular bulls are on the other side. If they can take out that unit of archers, that'd be great. Anything else they get would be gravy, but right now I think they just have big targets on their back. For my opponent's side, on our left flank, his right, he's got a unit of peasant bowmen. Next to them is some Grail Knights. Next to them are his knights on foot. I think his prophetess is in there. No, his prophetess is in the next unit of men at arms with a sergeant at arms. And no, the sergeant at arms is in with the men at arms. The prophetess is in with the knights of the realm on foot. Sorry, it's been a little while. Then, of course, he's got both of his characters with the Peg Knights. I think his Duke is separate from them, but is using him as a screen, so it makes total sense. And then, of course, the other unit of Peasant Bowmen on the our far right, his left there. We go to top of one, and since they all took a knee to pray, I got to go first. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I would have failed the roll if he'd have gotten to go first. Anyway, as you can see, we trundle forward. I don't want to get charged, and yes, I realize now that was stupid. I should have fired Lord Tremendous up on his Thunder Tusk and dared the Grail Knights to charge him. It was stupid. I'm still learning. Honestly, the Mournfang I think I did right with because there's no way I want Peg Lords and Peg Knights into my Mournfang. They're tough, but they're not that tough. And I think his Duke has Monster Slayer and Killing Blow, so they would just get mulched if he rolls any sixes to wound. The Iron Guts, though, they should have moved forward to full 12. I don't know why I didn't. I'm still nervous. I did get the 5-up regen with the Cauldron off because, of course, I did. But yeah, I'm looking at it now, and if hindsight's a killer. I know what I was thinking at the time. It's inexperience. On the left flank there, my hunter and his pack move up to just take a pot shot at the Grail Knights, and the bulls move up. They don't want to get charged by the Peg Knights, but honestly, I should have let them. I should have moved up and dared the Peg Knights to charge the bulls. That would have been fine. It would really put them out of position for a turn. But again, inexperience and not enough confidence with the army yet. That's why I'm playing these games. I'll be honest with you, nothing happens in the shooting or magic phase. It either gets stopped or I miss or fail to wound or he makes his save. So here we are in bottom of turn one, and my opponent comes up kind of conservatively as well. The Peg Knights move up because they're not afraid of anything, let's be honest. And his Knights of the Realm come up a little bit. Men at Arms stay still. Grail Knights come up forward just a touch. He does get Glittering Robes off on his Men at Arms. I'm sorry, on his Knights of the Round on foot, or Knights of the Realm on foot. And the archers on the left flank just kind of shift around a little bit to get a better angle onto Hunter and his pack. That's really it for his movement. In the shooting phase, the only thing that happens is these archers fire at my bulls, who are basically running around with light armor and nothing else, and roll really well and get 2 wounds through on those guys, which they took personal. With that in mind, here's top of 2 after movement, and I get curious. I really do. I am able to get the Cauldron to go off on my unit again, which is great. So they have a 5-up regen. Not able to get any other spells off. My Mordfang charge into the Peg Knights. I could see them. I figured, why not? Now, yes, we we screwed up here. We should know better. I blame myself. So the Peg Knights did not line up correctly to the Mornfang. We thought that it was just their counter charge that they moved up, forgetting that they were skirmishers. Yes, he should have more guys in base to base with the Mornfang, therefore giving them more impact hits. Is what it is. That's why we play these games. The Hunter charged into the Archers, who stood and shot and did nothing, so they're going to die horribly, and that's great. My Bruiser moved up in front of the Grail Knights stupidly because I realized after the fact that, oh yeah, the Knights of the Realm could easily charge him in the flank now. That would be really bad. But it is what it is, so we'll see what happens next turn. Everything else moves up slightly, and that's really it for my movement. We go into the shooting phase, and my Iron Blaster lines up a wonderful shot into the Grail Knights. I'm going to mulch 3 of them. I can already taste their souls, and I misfire 4. So he can't shoot this turn or next because some dumbass noveler got stuck in the black powder or whatever it is. At least he didn't explode. There is that. Nothing else happens in the shooting phase, so we go into combat. And the Mornfang don't do terrible. I won't say they did terrible, but they didn't do great. I ended up getting 1 Monster Slayer killing blow, whatever it is, from his Duke or whoever has it. I was able to kill, I think, 1 of the Peg Knights. It just, unfortunately, they really beat my ass down. Plus, they have all sorts of banish shenanigans and stuff like that. It's an excellent unit, very tough nut to crack. I should have gotten more impact hits, but that's neither here nor there. I got to be honest with you. It is what it is. That's why we play these games. I ended up losing by 5, and they very easily catch me and run me down. It is what it is. It sucks. But Peg Knights, even if I had made it, even if I had gotten the extra 2d3, we'll say I got 6 more impact hits, there's no AP. They would have had their full 3 up, 2 up, 5 up, whatever it is they have. More than likely, it wouldn't have changed anything. Definitely wouldn't have changed anything to the point where it would have been closer, or they would have made their break check. I got run down. They lost. That was a losing battle anyway, but it was a lot of fun. So it's what it is. This combat goes a lot better for me, though. The Hunter and his pack kill 7 of the Peasant Bowmen, take no wounds in return. I win combat by 7. The little fruit bats do get away, but we slam into the flank of the Grail Knights, and honestly, that's a pretty good place for my Hunter to be. I'm okay with this. That takes us over here to bottom of 2. Oh, man. So his Duke or his Paladin, I think it's his Duke, charges into the flank of the Bulls. I figured that was going to happen. Is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. What I didn't see happening was I thought his Peg Knights and his Paladin were going to charge into the flank of the Iron Blaster, kill it, slam into the flank of the Ogres, the Iron Guts, and basically just mulch my army. But no, they charge into the flank of the Bruiser, Lord Tremendous. That's really bad. I don't really have anything against Monster Slayer. I've got a 5 up. I've got Death Eater, but yeah, we'll see what happens. His Knights of the Realm on foot did try to charge as well, but failed, and the Men-at-Arms just marched forward to get into this. He did rally the 3-banger unit of Peasant Bowmen. They're not below 25%, so they just need to make their rally check, and there were plenty of Knights around. Oh, this is going to be rough. He's making me earn it, but yeah, that's it for movement. Nothing happens in his shooting phase because there's really nothing for him to shoot at. Everything's in combat. So we go into combat. And yeah, this guy just demolishes one of the ogres, almost kills the second one by himself. I think he wins by 4 or 5. It's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, they flee off the table. He restrains, turns around, and gets ready to get back into the fight. It is his Paladin BSV. I see the banner now. Just silliness. The Bulls wanted to go over and discuss why the archers were shooting at him, and this Paladin comes and saves a bunch of peasants of all the mimbly-pimbly BS. No, it was awesome. It was the right thing to do. And it's a shame. I was hoping that he wouldn't do it, but oh well. At least he's slightly out of range, or out of position anyway. So we go into this one, and I can't push through his armor. That's the biggest downfall of the Hunter. He can't push through armor. He's got no AP. So I ended up doing just a flank for combat res. He did a wound to me. I don't know where the other 2, maybe close order? Close order would be another one. I don't know. He couldn't have gotten a rank. He doesn't have a banner in that unit. I don't know where the third one, combat res, came from. Doesn't matter. I lost by 2. I end up falling back in good order, and he pursues. And of course, he redresses and everything like that and slams into me. So this is going to be rough. This battle right here, though, goes pretty well for me. His Duke is not able to roll Monster Slayer on me. I do a wound to him, he does a wound to me. I've got a little bit of extra combat res with Close Order and BSB. He's got a flank, a banner, a wound, and I don't remember what the third one was. Something. Probably a war banner or something like that. Either way, doesn't matter. Yeah, no, I don't have a clue. Anyway, it was 4-3. He won by 1, and he did not pursue. He actually restrained and stayed right where he was at. So I'm out of combat with him. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember why he did that. That takes us over to here to top of 3, and I go in. Why not? It's ogres. It's what we do. The Iron Guts charge into the Peg Knights. The Iron Blaster tried to charge the Peg Knights and failed, but we later figure out the way skirmish was supposed to line up and FAQ. He does actually make it. It's just this picture was before we figured that out. Lord Tremendous slams into the flank of the Grail Knights in an effort to save the Hunter. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, everything else I have is deader in combat. So nothing else happens in the shooting or magic phase, so we go into combat, and yeah, it's pretty good. Lord Tremendous is able to mulch 2 or 3 of them, and the Hunter is able to kill his guy in combat. Both of the Saber Tusks die before they can do anything, so that's too bad. But in the end, I win 6-4, so I win by 2, which is really good. But my opponent makes his break check. He just ends up giving ground. My Hunter pursues to stay in the combat, because why not? And Lord Tremendous, he actually restrains and turns to face the Knights of the Realm. I don't know if the Peg Knights are still going to be there after this turn, but I'm figuring I would like to send my BSB into his Knights of the Realm on foot to give them a chance to die for their lady. So we go into this combat over here, and we figure out, okay, they're supposed to be spread out, blah, 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 impact hits, all that. I don't do a whole lot. As you can see, I think 1 wound ends up on his unit champion, 1's up on the unit. We do all right. We end up going, I think it's, I got 5 to his 9. I know the tally marks are a little weird, but yeah, it's not great. I lose by 4. The Iron Guts fall back in good order, but the Iron Blaster breaks and flees. They pursue the Iron Blaster, and he goes like 3 inches. They catch him right there. The Iron Guts come back, and they do rally and reform, as you can see. The Nobblers do not panic. They pass their panic check no problem. So, not ideal, but they're Peg Knights with a Psycho Duke. It is what it is. We go in the bottom of 3, of course, and his Pegasus Knights with his Psycho Duke slam into the Iron Guts. That's not good. I knew it was coming. That's why I reformed the way I did, but still not good. His BSB comes flying over to get back into the fight. His Knights of the Realm are going to stand right where they are because his Prophetess got Mirage off on my Bruiser. Lord Tremendous is not going to be able to march or charge next turn at all. That is huge. That has screwed me bad here. And so, yeah, well played by my opponent. He's really just completely just blunted any kind of momentum I had is gone now. So the ball's in his court, and that's it for movement. Nothing happens in shooting or magic, so we go into combat, and the Hunter finishes off that damn Grail Knight in a challenge too, so you know that it meant something. I do overrun in a desperate attempt to get into combat with the Knights of the Realm, because while I don't know if he'd do great against them, I wanted to find out. But I fail. I miss him by about 1.5 inches. Oh man, look at all those tally marks. Honestly, it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. It's worse. So it was really bad. I ended up losing my Slaughtermaster in the challenge because, of course, he killing blowed him. The ogres themselves didn't fare too badly, but as you can see, I lost this combat by 14-4. I did kill one of his Pegasus Knights, and I put a wound on another. That was really all I could do, though. The boys tried. They really did. And beyond all odds, make their break check. Not only did I make it, but all they do is give ground. I failed it on a 9 initially. I'm within 18 inches of my BSB because he's on a large target, so his command range is quite large. And I rolled Snake Eyes for. So these badass, blubbery Iron Guts just back up 2 inches and say, bring it on. Of course, the Peg Knights come right back in, and we're right back in the combat. But the fact that they didn't just get run down is, dare I say, tremendous. We go over here to top of 4, and of course, my bruiser can't do anything but look at all the infantry he's currently surrounded by. My hunter does charge into the 3-banger of Peasant Bowman because it just seems like a more guaranteed win than if he were to charge into the Knights of the Realm. Maybe I should have. We'll never know. The Noblars just kind of turn a little bit so they can throw their sharp stuff at things, and that's it for my movement. Nothing else happens. The Slaughtermaster's dead. None of my shooting is still around, so we go into combat directly, and the hunter is able to destroy the conga line of Peasant Bowman without any real difficulty. He does overrun, but not very far, and I know it doesn't matter that he spins around or anything like that because he's a skirmisher's got 360 line of sight, but I wanted the Knights of the Realm to know that he was thinking about them, so I turned him. Simple as that. Sue me! Oh, this one did not go well. I was able to do pretty much nothing. I think I got 2 wounds through on him, or 1. I'm dropping another Peg Knight, maybe. I don't remember. What I do know is that he won by 6. And you know what? The Iron Guts did as good as they could. All things considered, they were on borrowed time. So yeah, they break this time and they get run down. I mean, with the killing blow and stuff like that the Dukes have and all that other jazz, I just don't have a great answer for Pegasus Knights. They've just got too much going for them. I mean, no issue with the unit or the army or the characters. It'd be stupid not to take them, especially as they are if you're going to run Bretonians. I love the kit. I love the units. But I need to think of something. Not that I can change this particular list, but I need to adapt my strategy when dealing with Pegasus Knights, especially killing characters like this, because otherwise they're just going to be able to run Ramshaw over my army like they are here, and there's nothing I can do about it. Whining aside, here's bottom of 4 after movement, and his Knights of the Realm on foot decide, screw it, we're going into the Bruiser. And they do, and they make it no problem. Somebody charged the Noblars, and they fled, and they made it right where they are there. And that's really it. I think his BSB charged Noblars just to have some fun, and they got away. The unit of Peg Knights were either they failed their charge or they were too far away. I think they just failed their charge into the flank of the Bruiser. They'll be there in a turn, I have no doubt. But I get to have some fun with Knights of the Realm this turn, and I'm looking forward to it. So we go into combat, and things are going pretty well. And then this prophetess bitch tries to cast this assailment spell on Lord Mother Effin Tremendous, okay? He rolls, as you can see, an 11, bringing it a total to 15. First of all, the audacity to try to cast this spell cannot be forgiven. Second of all, overcasting it by so much is something that can't be forgiven. So Lord Tremendous, not even a caster, picks up his fate by the short hairs and throws it at her, rolling boxcars to stop her. All that to say, she tried to get her assailment spell off, and I stopped it on boxcars with a fated roll. Oh, that was awesome. And the combat goes very well after that. I end up winning by 1. I have a total of 4 combat res to his 3. He did stop some stuff with his Ladies Protect roll and all that, but honestly, if thanks to stopping that assailment spell, I win this combat by 1. That's not a huge big deal, though. They end up making their check, and they just give ground 2 inches, and Lord Tremendous follows up. Okay, this is top of turn 5. If I'm going to do something, this is when I need to do something. The Noblars rally, just for the record, which is amazing considering only leadership 5. I don't know what the hell they're going to do, but they turn and face and kind of stretch out a little bit because I'm going to throw everything I've got at that damn paladin and see if I can't hurt him a little bit, because I think it would be hilarious if they took down a character, especially a Bretonian character. Oh, they would sing songs about these Noblars. They would be inedible to the ogres if that were to occur. Anyway, the hunter, the very few ogres I have left on the table, the hunter charges into the flank of the Knights of the Realm, and hopefully, with the hunter and the BSB working together, we can smash this unit, run it down, and maybe even get into the men at arms. We will see. But that's it for movement. It wasn't meant to be. Unfortunately, the Noblars did not do any wounds to the Paladin. They did wound, but he made his saves, no problem. So we go into combat, and we do pretty well, actually. Both of them end up taking, the Bruiser and the Hunter both end up taking a wound, but in return, we smash up a lot of these guys. And he doesn't get his Assailment spell off because the Prophetess is starting to get a little worried. I end up winning combat by 2, which, isn't a ton. They actually end up breaking. They fled. Like, it wasn't a fallback in good order. They flat out ran. They bounced through the men-at-arms who make their panic check. I pursued, but since he bounced through the men-at-arms, I couldn't catch him, and both units end up into the men-at-arms. That could have been huge if the men-at-arms had just been out of the way. But it is what it is. We're in this combat. That was my chance. Maybe they won't rally. Maybe they won't rally. I could get lucky. Come on, luck. Oh man, luck completely abandoned me. So yeah, his Peg Knights and his Duke get in. His Paladin tried to get in there too, but they were all in the flank, and he ran out of room, and he moved the Peg Knights and the Duke first. So the Paladin fails his charge and is just like, oh well. And the Knights of the Realm do rally. Oh well, that could have been huge. That is really it though. The Bowmen are just thrilled that no one's going to kill them, and everything else is where you see it. We go straight into combat. His Duke issues a challenge. Tremendous accepts it, and he proceeds to killing blow him. I think twice. I didn't make either save. He dies instantly, and it is what it is. My BSB, I think, killed one guy, maybe. Just didn't roll very well. I think he took a wound for his trouble, but with all the combat res that they got for killing Lord Tremendous, as well as 3 ranks, banner, close order, and the shenanigans, my hunter loses by 56 and gets run down for his trouble. The men-at-arms just slaughtering him before he could do anything. It sucks, it really does, but it is what it is. I did the best I could, as bad as I played. We go to top of 6, and the only thing I have left is the Noblars, who throw their sharp stuff in defiance against the Paladin, and all they do is sully his armor slightly. No wounds are conveyed. And so in the bottom of 6, my opponent just offers the Noblars a chance to Harry carry themselves, and they take him up on the offer. I delete the unit, and there it is. There's the end of the game. The ogres were humbled by the noble, quote-unquote, battalions. Those bastards. No, it was a good game. I learned a lot. We all learned a lot. Skirmishers and stuff like that, how they're moving around, how we're supposed to function with them and stuff like that. Some different things. Really good game, really good fight. That Miastic Mirage just completely took the wind out of the sails of Lord Tremendous when he was about to charge into that unit. I think it wouldn't have changed anything other than how many dead Knights of the Realm there were. I think this was the inevitable conclusion. My opponent played beautifully. Those Peg Knights and those Peg characters are just so hard to deal with, and I didn't have a good plan against them. My cannon failed to do anything, and I really didn't have any follow-up, unfortunately. So when I do run into Bretonnians again, I'm really going to have to think, when I see Pegasus Knights and characters on the table, how I'm going to have to deal with them. But I'm already pretty neck deep into the recap, so let's get to it. Well, this didn't go well, but it was still a fun fight. It really was. Bretonnian Pegasus Knights are the unit to beat. 360 charge arcs, the lances, their 2-up or 3-up armor, the built-in ward. They are very difficult. And throw characters with the same stats as them across the board, better stats, in fact. I gotta have a better plan on how to deal with them in the future. It's stupid for any Bretonnian player not to play them. I get it. I know you're expecting me to be like, oh, they need to be nerfed. Not the case. Now, we were talking about the Green Knight. Yeah, I'd get on a soapbox, but Peg Knights, Peg characters, I respect them. And if you're going to be able to take a dragon, the Bretonnians should be able to take something that's just as legendary as the things that slay dragons. So I'm totally fine with all this. My complaining is my own ability to deal with them, and I need to come up with a better plan for how to deal with them when I face them in future battles. I'm very fortunate that I have a great opponent to play against in order to learn how to do that. You know, he's very good. Watch battle reports, you can see it. I'll get him eventually, but today was not that day. My army, though, in my opinion, did very, very well. I can't really complain. I blame the stumbling around and the bad decision making on myself, you know, because even though I hear the voices, I don't always listen to them. And that's a damn shame because they were probably right. Honestly, though, for a legacy army, the ogres, I was expecting them to be much more, I don't know, feel like I was playing at a disadvantage, and I don't. I don't at all. They're very strong, and I just haven't fully realized just how strong they really are. So I'm looking forward to getting more games in and playing with my fatty back boys, because golly, am I enjoying it. And of course, we got to go over to Tithe of Bones. King Hotep hired us for a job, and even though we got completely tabled, something came back and got him back to him. So he did get some of it. So I wasn't able to kill any of the Bretonian characters despite my best efforts. So those numbers all stay the same. But in core, there were no men at arms. Well, I didn't kill any of the men at arms, and there was a Grail Monk. I didn't get him either. However, I was able to kill 10 peasant bowmen. The hunter did very well, so that brings my total up to 151. And then I was able to kill, I think, 4 Knights of the Realm. It may have been more. I counted 4. So I'm just going to say I've got 18 on the pyre now. So, okay. In special, I did kill 2 more Pegasus Knights, and even one of those is a triumph. So the more of those I get to kill, the better. But the real win on this one was destroying the unit of Grail Knights and putting them on the pyre. Sending those up, I mean, they're delicious, and their bones make great structures for the Tomb Kings. So all in all, not the worst outcome I could have experienced. And now we can just bask in the glory of all the demons and warriors of chaos that I've killed. It's nice running into the warriors of chaos again. The numbers are going up there. I need more demons and chaos players, and I totally understand why I can't find it. My Wood Elf numbers are still very impressive, probably because I run into them the most often, but I'm still very happy with it. And the unworthy Tomb Kings that were sent as a tithe are still there. My numbers in the Chaos Dwarves are still pretty decent as well. Well, my Orcs and Goblins numbers could really go up, but I don't have an Orc and Goblin opponent. If you'd like to fix that, reach out. And though I've only seen the Dark Elves once, they were none on the table, even though they looked alike. And so all these numbers stay the same, but these are the ones I'm the most proud of. But that's going to do it for this one. Another battle report in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, thanks!